Hello, welcome back to 301's Tarot. My name is Cash. I have not figured out the microphone setup, but I still wanted to do a reading for you today. I have a couple notes. The rune of the day is Kaunas, which means torch. Skill, truth, illumination, clarification, purification, forgiveness, solution to a problem, peril, troubles, and misunderstandings overcome, justice assured. The very loud and first message that I got was, there is no death magic because you never made people pay. That's super intense, right? But we'll figure out some more connecting messages that'll perhaps lighten it up a little bit. There's a lot of hope coming through in your message today, and a big message that not only are you not alone, as in there are other people like you in a way that you never realized was even possible before, or let alone happening, but there are leagues like you. There are leagues of people that are just like you. And this sounds impossible to some, I think, because the experience lately has been one of such loneliness and one of such isolation that it's like, how can you sit here and tell me that there's not only a few people like me, but a ton of people like me? And then on the other side of that, it's kind of like, how could I have ever believed that there are not other people like me? But in whatever way that you apply that to the greater scheme of, like, no one has the same personality as you, or no one really gets life the way that you do. I don't know, that's not the sense that I'm getting. It may even be like, no one has ever dressed like me. Like, there's just some sort of separation in your mind between yourself and other people that is, I think the curtain's being ripped off of it. I think the curtains are being drawn apart so that you can see just this abundant group of people that share a lot in common with you. And it's going to take you by surprise. It's going to take you by surprise. I think in the past it would have done something something different to your perspective than it's going to do now. So I'm kind of excited to navigate that surprise with you. Let's figure out what's going on here. Anything else? For some of you, you are also channelers. You are also tarot readers, or you read runes, or you read your channeled messages in your notebooks. There's some kind of situation that may question whether or not you sharing that information with other people is necessary, let alone healthy or moral. I think that it is extremely moral to share your downloads with people. Like I said in the last reading, I wouldn't want to learn something about you and not share it, basically. I wouldn't want to learn relevant information, keep it to myself, for instance. So if you're feeling kind of, I wouldn't say a struggle, but a hesitation to share what you divinate or what you learn through downloads or dreams with other people because, you know, they're just supposed to find out on their own, maybe that's the case. But if you feel a willingness to tell them, even if you're worried about it giving them an advantage, you're coming, you have a good heart. You know, you're coming from a good place, and you're coming from a circumstance in yourself which is questioning things as you go along, and I think that's a good thing. I don't necessarily think the questions are necessary in the way that they feel necessary. It's not necessary to challenge your willingness to share what you learn with people. Not as necessary as you think it is. But I think the questioning is a healthy thing to do. Yeah? I don't know. Why not? Why not question what you're doing? I think there's a lot to learn from the questions being asked and answered. I think there is a lot to learn from the process itself. I would say don't let yourself slow down in your process simply because you feel hesitant about how sharing information might impact other people. wondering is good. Preventing yourself because of it isn't always good. You know what? That's just the pre-card stuff, so let's get into it. Hecate. Hecate's energy is here, the crossroads worker, I wanted to say, but the crossroads watcher watches over decisions being made. I think Hecate is gently guiding you to be more vocal, both in your practice and in the ways that you interpret it with other people. I'm sorry I cannot get these glasses clean. Hecate is here to protect you, is here to protect your situation. I'm also seeing Dictator at the bottom of the deck, so there may be something. Not may. Let me just channel what I'm picking up. There's some kind of way that you are desiring to express yourself, either out in the greater world or even to yourself in a way that you haven't before, that would allow you to connect with the leagues of people that are like you. But there's some kind of force or energy in your life that is willing you to pay more attention to them than to yourself. And that's what dictators kind of act like. They're like, hey, what happened to paying all the attention to me all the time? I don't know, Dictator, I just got a little distracted by my own life. Picking up what I'm putting down. Freedom in reverse. I think that really highlights what we were just getting towards. Remember who you are in reverse, and take what resonates, leave the rest in reverse. It's a very kind of oppositional energy. I'm just going to draw one more. Pain was felt. I think there is a situation that at this point in time is undeniable. I think that there were moments during this situation where you would turn to people and say, this is what's happening, you know, this is what I'm experiencing. People will go, oh, it'll blow over, or, oh, it's not that big of a deal, it's not so bad. I'm not necessarily saying that it is bad, I'm just saying that there were some sort of levels of dismissal to your experience that are now clearing away. That's the curtain that is clearing away, that is opening. That's a confirmation. Let me turn this down so it's not using so much power. It's always something. Means we're doing it. With take what resonates and leave the rest in reverse, I'm thinking, let this be more of like a meditation that you're listening to than a reading that you're being guided through, because I think that there are things that are going to stand out so loudly to you that you'll be like, oh, that's what I was meant to hear, and it'll pop out without you looking for it. And if that never happens, shit, you know? That's the feeling I'm getting, is it's more of a background process of information, of just hearing things coming in instead of seeking the answers in here, because with Freedom in Reverse and with Dictator showing up earlier, I think there is some kind of clutch on your consciousness or on your ability to receive information. Not to say that you've done anything wrong or there's anything to worry about. I'm going to sip on a little wine. This is wine. I just like being transparent. It's the evening. I'm having a little glass of wine, okay? Won't lie to you. Freedom in reverse. It wigged me out to share that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if wine is something that you don't like seeing people consume. That might be the case, you know? And, if you're on your sobriety journey or anything like that, sorry, I'm just going to check this really quick. This is super rude of me. Okay. I think that's why this is more of a background reading. This is like a elevator music compilation. Except the elevator music is my silly voice, and the compilation is all of my random thoughts coming together while I drink a glass of wine in front of you. Now that we've gotten all that out of the way, let's get into the tarot. With Take What Resonates, I think I've gotten through everything, but remember who you are in reverse, and pain was felt in reverse. Pain was felt upright. There may have been a situation recently where it just feels too fresh to talk about, and to even hear what I'm about to lay down may be the first time that you're kind of waking up to the situation as it is. I don't know, let's find out. We'll get there. We'll get there. It always takes a minute to, like, find the room we're in, you know? I'm really getting that you're working with this lack of freedom to your favor. There's always something smart to do in every situation. You are making the choices that if you were watching yourself on a movie play these choices out, you're seeing the scenes go by and you're like, that's what I would have done. Because it's you and you're doing it. But I just think there may be, you know, some sort of external force that's watching and saying, they weren't supposed to do that. And you're feeling the heat of that, so it's kind of tempting you to stop moving, but you're not following the temptation, from what I understand. Really, this is someone else's idea that you need to slow down in a way that you don't agree. So we have the Chariot to outline Hecate, who's watching over the crossroads. You are making safe passage. The Chariot was showing up a lot in reverse the past couple days for me, so to see it upright is a big deal. As in, I think that... Sorry to rub my eye right in front of you. I apologize a lot. I'm gonna work on that. But, getting to the point, I promise. I think... the Chariot with Hecate at the crossroads, I think that is a green light to keep going where you're going in the direction that you're going in. It may feel like the opposite of freedom to either be going back to a place that you never wanted to see again, or to succumb to some sort of authoritative figure that you did not want to follow the orders of. But I think you're realizing that you are the controller in your life. You're the controller of your own situation in your life, and as much as other people might try to bring in situations that feel out of control to you, or that make you feel out of control, you're like, that's nice. That wasn't even where I was trying to go anyway, so I'm glad it didn't work out over there. That's what I'm hearing for you. Let's call for this freedom in reverse. Four of Pentacles in reverse, which in this deck shows the Grim Reaper. As soon as you let go of something, it will free up your energy. It will free you up. This may be an item. This may be... This is interesting. I think you have a temptation to get rid of everything in one way or another. Maybe you're seeing, you know, clean talk videos or whatever. And I know that's such a super niche area of the internet that not everybody is on, but maybe you see videos of very minimalistic creators online and you're thinking, now I need to get rid of everything. I don't even need to keep what resonates. I need to get rid of everything. I know that feeling, but there's also another part of you that's like, we don't need to get rid of anything. So I'm asking you to sift yourself towards the middle on this one if you can. No pressure, but it might just make a manifestation come in sooner. Remember, who you are in a reverse is sat here with the Page of Wands. You're starting something new and it feels so unsure, and I understand you're feeling a little hesitant because this situation that you're in is not necessarily ramping up to the point that it might have in this amount of time. We always know what might happen, and then we compare it with what did happen as, you know, a friendly, neutral way to look at life. There's no need to bash your head up against what you didn't do. There's no point. With the Page of Wands facing up to remember who you are in reverse, these cards are asking you to... I'm starting to see what's happening. You're getting that feeling of wanting to get rid of everything in the physical world and realm because you are getting ready to get to get out of an identity that does not suit you anymore. And this situation is not asking you to look back at the past of how you developed your identity leading up to this point. This is a totally new, fresh way of looking at yourself. And I'm not saying building an identity as in, let me build another mask to hide behind to not be. Building an identity at this point for you, and let me pull a card just to make sure this is what's going on. It's got just as much to do with the crossroads as Hecate. Does that make sense? Your identity your identity building has as much to do with which path you take right now as Hecate has to do with Crossroads, which is a lot. So it's just it's not that you're building something outside of yourself to implement onto yourself. You're saying, which aspects of myself do I wish to show? And I think you're saying, I don't want to hide anything ever again. I don't think you've been hiding a lot, but I think that there is something that you've been holding back. And interestingly, this reading is asking you not to look back on what you've held back, but look forward to what's coming. You don't need to look back anymore. You don't need to remember anything. There is much less of a drive and a need and a desire for you to be looking backwards for this information. This is about your future. This is about your future, okay? So you've never reacted to life in this way to get the results that you're about to get, which is why you feel alone when there are actually leagues and legions of people just like you in this exact position and situation. Tiny details can change that situation for you, but maybe you can just try to zoom out and see the big picture of what is going on around you. Because you're realizing with the Tower in reverse and the Six of Pentacles in reverse, what taking care of yourself means now is letting background processes be background processes and not bringing them to the front every time they wish to be sought after, is what I heard. You're deconstructing self-destruction by means of picking up the pieces slowly instead of all at once. You're not trying to clean up a whole mess all at once. You're slowly picking things off of the ground to put back in their place and going, okay, we'll try it differently next time. It doesn't feel like a defeat happened, but it just feels like a mess keeps happening. Possibly, or just, the feeling of clutter in your energetic field where you're desiring to get rid of things. It's not about getting rid of things, it's about making choices that feel more streamlined to you so that your identity matches with your decision-making skills, if that makes sense. Take what resonates and leave the rest in reverse is, not picking up everything that's on the ground, but picking up what matters to you. That's what I'm having such a hard time saying identifying or identity. So let's choose a different word. Your forward presenting self in the past would try to clean up everyone's messes around you, try to clean up the mess to the left of you, to the right, all the mess at once, and then every day there was just a new mess. I think you're learning to just pick some things up at a time, know that by the end of the week everything will get sorted away and put away the way that it's meant to, but it will just be much more slowly than you're used to. And I think that this is rebuilding faith in your ability to complete tasks in the manner of which they need to be completed, not from some sort of external force which is telling you you need to be doing something specific all the time, which is that dictator energy with freedom in reverse. I didn't mention the Hanged Man that came out over here. I think Hecate is, and if you've worked with Hecate before, you probably know what her energy feels like to you. The Emperor in reverse. She kind of makes it feel like you're not in control. From what I've experienced. Ouch. She didn't like me saying that. Okay, it's not that she makes you feel like you're out of control. She highlights the moments in your life where you are out of control. This isn't she really didn't like that I blamed that on her. And I do take it back because it didn't feel accurate when I said it. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Alright. We're all meant to learn this together here. Let's learn this together. Pain was felt. That reminds me of me knocking my sore knuckle on the table. And that's this card over here, if you were wondering. I'm gonna drink water soon to balance it out. It's too easy to blame the situation, right? It's too easy to look at the crossroads and be like, why are there even crossroads? Why are there even two roads I could go on? Why don't I just go in the grass? I don't blame you for wanting to go in the grass, and I don't necessarily disagree with you either. I just think that there are two loud, solid, paths that you could take, and the energy is very much saying that's enough dilly-dallying for now, not in a hurry-up kind of way, but in a slow-down kind of way. The way that you slow down when you have found what it is that you've been looking for. You kind of slow down because you want time to stop. You slow down because you want to savor the situation. It's enriching to you. So don't blame the situation for being the situation if you can help it, and I'm sorry if that's harsh. More so, take every crossroads as the opportunity that it is to learn about yourself. If you're spending the time blaming the entity that's walking you through, you're not observing how you're reacting in the situation. And I know that I'm obviously externalizing it because I was the one that was just saying the incorrect statement before. I'm happy to be corrected on camera. It'll be bad luck if you try to blame the situation. Okay? And think about how that can manifest on a big scale, on a small scale. It's things as small as like getting mad at TV commercials for existing. They exist, you know? The situation exists. And I see a physical crossroads sort of situation where one of them stops and one of them goes across in this Hanged Man card. You wish that there was only one choice that would lead you somewhere, but there are two. And that's okay. I want to go back to this rune and see if there's any clue about this crossroads energy that I might have missed. Talking about the torch here, so there's something lighting your way forward. Solution to a problem. Misunderstandings overcome. Purification. It's just giving so many instances of people beginning to understand where you're coming from, because you're beginning to understand that you are not alone in the ways that you interact with this specific situation that you are dealing with. And that is very important news, so that you can begin to accept it for what it is instead of looking for what it is you need to sort out externally in the situation. We have the Ten of Cups under pain was felt. Any shortcomings that you went through in this situation, and we'll get more honed in on what the situation might have been specifically if you don't have an idea yet. Or, you know, we'll try. Pain was felt, Ten of Cups. I think admitting that you're trying is bringing any sort of painful situation to a very peaceful end. Thank you, Light. That seems like a big confirmation. I'm sorry it's blinking so much. I have it on a charger right now. I could try a different one, but it seems to be going okay most of the time. Let me just turn it down so that it decreases the chance of that happening. Sorry. It's turning around, and the pain that you felt was a sort of a sacrifice that it's not that a sacrifice that necessarily needed to be made. It was a sacrifice that was made. And I think that there's a big theme that I'm feeling coming forward right now of removing the fear that sacrifices that you've made for the greater good will not have an impact on you. Because I think that there maybe, like with Pluto and Capricorn energy versus Pluto and Aquarius energy, there's a lot more boomeranging of energy back to oneself, whereas Capricorn, it kind of like goes into the soil. You're putting seeds into the ground for a later harvest. That's not the same as a boomerang being thrown and hitting you in the chest 3 seconds later. So I think that there's a quickness with the energy itself that's allowing you as someone with a body to slow down. And I think any pain that you felt was just your own energy coming back to you. It doesn't always feel comfortable. It's not always like, oh, hi everyone, I'm back and I feel great. It's like your astral self is punching back into your body, and it's painful to re-enter a body. Maybe you've been astral projecting a lot. Maybe you've astral projected for the first time in your sleep and you ended up somewhere you've never been and it really felt like you were there. Pay attention to your dreams, obviously, always a good piece of advice. Under the Hanged Man, we have the Hermit in reverse. Interestingly, you know, the Hanged Man is such a solitary card typically, but here in the Afters tarot deck, you see that there's someone coming to feed him. Even though he's still hanging upside down. Feed him water, it looks like. So, it may feel like freedom is a bit pinched right now. It doesn't really feel free-flowing. It doesn't really feel like you get to call the shots. Not that that's what's important to you. That's not what's showing up here. But, you know, tiny shots. They add up. But I think you're realizing just how limited your freedom was without the help of other people. And what you used to think was help from other people was not help from other people. I think what you used to think was help from other people was attempts at, I heard getting closer to you without knowing why. And that's not the same as receiving help. That's just someone satiating their curiosity about you. And you're seeking actual help, like actual curiosity that leads to investment, that leads to growth together. It's not always about investment, but in this situation it feels like it is. Let's do one more and see where it goes. 2 came out. Yes, Page of Pentacles literally says investment on this other deck that I have, and the Devil. You've been trying to choose between who you perceived yourself to be in the past and who you perceive yourself to be now in relation to the past. And I think these cards are saying you don't need to do either of those things. You just need to acknowledge what new energy exists inside of you right now and where you want that to go. Where you want this rebirth energy to take you. It's not in a previous investment. It is in the new one. This center area is really just trying to get us back on track to looking at your future. Your future full of success. Let's leave this 6 of Wands there. Very full of success as long as you continue to follow the fire which burns inside of you. No one can ever put it out. That's not another person's job to put out your fire. It's another person's job to, like, see it at most. It's hard to even see other people's spark, let alone find a way to extinguish it. This happens over time by circumstances in life sometimes. Not to everybody, not all the time. But there are moments where it's like, I just got nothing. There's nothing there. That's when you have the reigniting to look forward to, which is such an amazing feeling. Either way, you have something to look forward to, okay? Seeing the 3 of Swords under here. You've been through a lot. You don't understand what that pain was healing in you, though. Here's the Chariot upright again. You're learning how to... I'm hearing the word delineate. I don't know if that's the right word for this, but what I wanted to say was differentiate between emotions and spirituality. I think there is a lot of overlap between emotionality and spirituality. And I think that it was confusing before in a way that it is no longer, because you learned how to take care of yourself, and you were saying, you know, no matter what, I've got to take care of myself every day. There's no way around it, whereas before it was totally optional. I think, let's pull another card to see if that's true. Was self-care optional for the collective before? Hanged Man in reverse. Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. Which just turned around when I dropped it over the 10 of Cups. So this one instance of you receiving help from one person for one moment was enough to flip your world around and set you up for happiness. Because when it rains, it pours when it comes to the passion that sharing can reignite in a soul that hasn't received a loving touch or gesture in a while. Temperance with the Hermit in reverse. You learned how to take that one situation of, I want to say charity, but, you know, of goodwill from another person and turn it into 2 instances of that which become more. There's this multiple. Alright, 30 minutes through the reading once again. Look, the light agrees. I'll get better at that, I promise, but I just think it's always going to be longer than 30 minutes. If you don't know, most cameras have like a time limit for recording video. I don't know. I should know. I do know. I don't know. Five of Swords in reverse, Freedom in reverse. I think there was just something in you that saw an opportunity to kind of like jump in the ring, stake your claim, say something to somebody, and you didn't. And it felt like it cut off your ability to see forward, and so you feel less free. But I think the opposite happened. I think in that moment, when you took care of yourself, instead of doing what was expected, it caused you to subvert something terrible from happening and reinstate both your emotionality and your trust in life and your faith in your situation and your ability to get back up. That all happened as a result of this lack of freedom, which is always worth looking into because everything happens for a reason. And as I was saying before the camera shut off, this may be showing up in your dreams with the moon in reverse at the bottom of the deck. This is deeply buried stuff. So there's just something nagging at you, but it's not getting what it wants from you. Whether that's internal or external, it all kind of feels the same at a point when it's been going on for long enough, you know? We have this Four of Pentacles in reverse again. Two of Pentacles upright, and the Queen of Cups in reverse. When you're trying to intuit by pulling from your past, you're getting wrong information. If you are someone who does that, but I think we all try to intuit from our past. We all try to learn from past situations, but I think that there is such a dissonance between who you are and who you are becoming that when you're trying to pull from past experiences of how to deal with things, it makes you feel in control for a moment, and then you're not. I think you're learning that it's not about control, especially when it comes to your intuition. The intuition is not asking to be controlled. It's asking to be heard, right? And maybe you had controlling tendencies in the past. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's very much a symptom of anxiety, you know. I'm not blaming you for being anxious. I just think you're less anxious now. Four of Wands in reverse, Nine of Pentacles, Justice. Wow. Yeah, I think this tower was supposed to affect your home. You know, when I'm saying this tower was supposed to do something, or like there was something that was supposed to happen, I'm kind of sensing into other timelines of how your situation could have played out. And dang it. Let me just see if flipping this will help. I doubt it. I mean, if that's it, then that's it. It might be. It might be. This is such a silly reading, but I am gonna stop it there. I think the last parts that are coming out are, don't worry about controlling the outcome based on how you controlled things in the past. Witness them the way that you would now based on what you've learned, right? Okay. Well, I'm gonna charge my light and actually do this proper next time, but thank you for coming through. Good luck. Goodbye.